What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying from Phoenix to St. Louis. We're going to be flying the PMDG 737. It's going to be a real flight. It's American Airlines 890. Looks like it's pretty clear skies here. I haven't done anything in the plane. This is a requested flight, so we'll go ahead and jump inside the plane. We'll start with our pre-flight checklist. First thing we need to do is put our parking brakes on. And we'll jump to the overhead panel. We'll go ahead and get our battery switch turned on, our electric hydraulic pumps turned on, and we'll get established on our ground power. All right, with that being done, we'll go ahead and make sure our landing gear lever is down. We have 3 green. We do. We'll do the APU and fire warning test. We'll flick this to the left. Make sure these illuminate. Go ahead and extinguish that up here. And we'll go ahead and flick this to the right. 3 red. Warning up here. We'll extinguish the alarm up here. We'll go ahead and close out of that. That worked as well. We'll make sure that these lights over here are working as well. They are, and they are. Very good. All right, we'll jump back overhead here. We'll get our wing lights turned on. And our engine bleed switches, they're already on. We'll go ahead and set up the... go up to the... Geez. IRS isn't set them to nav. I don't know why I'm struggling over my words today. IRS is set to nav. Yaw damper, we'll turn that on in a bit. We'll go ahead and get the emergency exit lights armed. We'll get our no smoking and our seatbelt signs turned on. And we'll check that our flap lever is forward. Our speed brake lever is down. We'll go back up overhead again. Our galley switch is on. Window heats can come on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And probe heats, we'll keep them off for now. And we'll go ahead and start inputting our flight plan. First thing we need to do... First thing, I don't know what's up with me today. First thing we need to do is go to FS Actions and head over to Payload. Our zero fuel weight today is going to be 116.7. So we'll put that in here. And we'll do that in a minute. We'll head back. We're going to go to fuel. And our block fuel today is 21,911. So we'll put that in. We'll drop that in here. We'll hit return. We'll go back. We'll hit FMC. We'll go to position in it. It's going to be KPHX is going to be our reference airport. Go ahead and go to the next page. Grab our left GPS. Jump back. Drop it in here. Head over to route. Origin is going to be KPHX. Destination is going to be KSTL. We'll drop that in there. It's going to be American Airlines 890. 890. And we'll drop that in there. We're going to be departing on runway 7 left. So we'll go 7L, drop that in there, head over to the next page. By the way, this is going to be our route today. Pretty straightforward, nothing crazy, nothing too interesting. But here's our waypoints at the top. We have a departure and an arrival, so we got to put that information into the plane, and we will go ahead and do that now. So our first waypoint is going to be Maxo, M-A-X-X-O. We'll drop that in here. Next one's going to be ACH. ACH, we'll put that in there. LBL. LBL, put that in there. We'll do this one. ICT. ICT. We'll do this one. And then BUM. BUM, and we'll put it in there. Now all we have to do is our runways and departures. We'll go ahead and go activate, execute. We'll go to departure and arrival. Departing runway is going to be runway 7 left, and it's going to be the Broke 1 and the Maxo transition. So we'll go ahead and execute that. We'll head over to departure and arrival. Arrival is going to be runway 30 right. So let's look for 30 right. There we go. It's going to be the Kayla 3. There we are, Kayla 3. And it's going to be the bum transition. Go ahead and execute that. We'll head over to our legs page. We'll jump out of here. We'll set this to plan mode. We'll make sure everything looks right. Step through this. Everything looks good so far. Good, 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 good. Good, good, and okay. Then we're going to fly parallel. We'll fly a downwind, and then we'll vector ourselves, or I guess direct to ourselves over there, since we're not flying with ATC today. Everything looks good there. Let's get our airport barometers. So we go here, KPHX. We'll go to weather, and the MEDAR altimeter is 3001. So we move this back over here. and we'll set that to 3001. There we are. Our cruise altitude today is going to be 350. So we'll put this up to 350. There we go. Come on. There we are. We'll jump up here. We'll set this to 350 as well. Now we need to set our altitudes here. So we'll go ahead and go back to charts. We'll go to taxi charts, airport info, and this is going to be our chart for here. It looks like our altitude here is 1135. So we'll put this up to 12. There we are. We could jump out of there for now. Runway 7 left. We're looking for our heading, which is 078. So go ahead and set that on our heading to 078. There we are. And our departure speeds, we'll get that in a second. Let's jump down here. We're going to go in at ref. We're going to put in our zero fuel weight again, which is 116.7. Zero fuel weight. We did 0.5 in reserves of fuel. Our cost index today is 13. We'll put that in there. Our cruise is, what did I say, 350? Yeah, 350. We'll drop that in there. And let's get our cruise winds, which are going to be 279075. 279/075. We'll put that in here. We have unable 280 knots at FBAP. That's a funny word, FBAP. Let's see where that is. Is that on our arrival? Looks like. Where is it? I don't even see it. Okay, here it is. 280 knots. So what we would do is go to descent. Target speed. We would want that to be, I guess, /280. And if we execute that, I think that should fix that. It's going to recalculate everything, and I think that will correct that. It looks like it did. Let's hope it stays like that. I'm a little bit rusty with that stuff, but we're going to go ahead and head over to N1 limit. We're going to do takeoff configuration 1. We're going to go over to takeoff. It's going to be 5 degrees of flaps. It's going to give us our trim. Just 5.8. Let's go ahead and get that put in here. .8, just be before that next tick. Right about there, I'd say. And we'll jump back down here. We're going to head over to next page. And for our weather here, let's go. It's looking like 280. Or no, I'm sorry. 110 at 5. 110, 5 knots. So runway winds. We'll put that in. We'll go back. V1, VR, V2 is going to be 138. So get that put in up here. 138. There we are. And I think that's everything we need to do for our pre-flight. We knocked that out pretty quick. I think we can do a before start check. So let's do that. FMC is programmed. We're going to get flight directors 1 and 2 turned on. Auto throttle switch is off. IAS Mach indicator is set. Heading selector is set. Altitude selector is set. Autopilot disengage bar is up. That's down, just in case you are wondering. You want it to be up like that. Thrust levers are idle. Stabilizer trim is set. Auto brakes can go to RTO. And we can get our APU started. Just go ahead and jump up here. We're going to set our APU to start. We'll wait for that to come alive. While we're waiting for that to come up, we'll jump down here. We'll set our TCAS to standby, even though we're not using it. We'll go ahead and click test. We'll jump up here. We'll make sure these are working. Looks like everything is working fine.
TCAS test passed.
There we are. We passed the TCAS test. I wonder if our yaw damper will stay on now. This always flicks off for me. Yeah, okay. So we can turn that on before the engines, which I didn't realize. Usually that flicks off for me. I guess we just have to get everything else up and going, and then it should be fine. So we're just waiting for our APU to stabilize here. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and get our APU bleed turned on. It looks like it is going to stabilize in just a minute. And we do have the nicer switches up here. We don't have the old school switches, which I'm so glad about. I always forget to switch them over when I change the liveries. So your plane settings go with the liveries, just in case you were wondering. So APU is on, APU bleed switches are on, APU gens 1 and 2. We're now on our APU. We can go over to our before pushback checks, which we got to get our fuel pumps on. What fuel are we using today? So we are using our center tanks. So we're going to get all of our tanks, our fuel pumps turned on. APU generator switches, we are on them. Seatbelt signs confirmed, yes. Flight deck doors and windows are locked. Anti-collision lights can come on, and we can go ahead and get rid of our ground services. We'll remove our wheel chocks and get rid of our ground power unit, or GPU. And I think we are ready for our pushback. So let's figure out where we are. Whoop. Didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's why. Oh, it was right there, wasn't it? All right, jump back over here. Go back to taxi, airport info. Okay, so we're pretty much pushing straight back. And then we're going to take Echo all the way up to 7 left. Probably Echo 4 is where we'll get on right here. All right, so we'll move this back over to my other screen here. Looks like we are ready for our pushback. We'll put this in the left ignition today. We'll go ahead and put this on, and we'll call for our tug. We'll release our parking brake. Whoop. There we go. Okay. And we'll get our right engine started. Or we'll start getting our right engine started. Beautiful mountains out there. Clear, beautiful skies. Live weather. We're not doing live time. I usually do my flights later at night, so I usually set the time back. But we are doing live weather. And we can go ahead and introduce fuel. A little bit late on that, but that's okay. We're at about 24 when I flicked it up. There we are. We're going to push straight back. We're going to go to the left here. So we just need to make sure we push back far enough onto this line that we can make that left turn. All right, waiting for that engine to come to life, and then we will start our second engine. Let's zoom this in a little bit more. There we go. All right, we'll jump back up here. This should flick off soon. There it goes. We'll go ahead and get our next engine going. Watching our N2 for about 20, 21. There's 10, 15, and 20. We'll go ahead and give it fuel. We can go ahead and stop our pushback. There we are. And put our brake back on. And we'll wait for that engine to finish coming to life. And then we'll do our after start checks. It should be fully ready to go here in just a second. They start up pretty quick. Everything's looking good here. Start valve is still open. We're waiting for that to click off. And there it goes. When clicked off. So go ahead and we'll go to the overhead view here. We have a master caution. We'll go to the overhead view here. After start checks, engine generator switches 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We are now off our APU. Our APU bleed switch can come off, and our APU can come off. Our probe heat switches 1 and 2, they can go on. We'll do a master caution system recall. Master caution system recall. That's a tongue twister. All right, we'll jump back up here. We're not using any anti-ice today. Packs left and right can be set to auto. Isolation valve can be set to auto. We'll go ahead and switch our transponder into TARA mode for simulation, even though we're not flying with ATC today. And we can move on to our taxi checks. Parking brake, we'll release that in a second. Taxi lights can come on. Runway turnoff lights can come on. Flaps 1, 2, 3. We'll go ahead and get those set into the flaps 5-degree position. And I think we are good to start taxiing. So we'll go ahead and release our parking brake. We'll give ourselves a little bit of throttle. We'll just do our right engine. That way we can swing around here a little bit quicker. There we are. And we're going to be looking at Delta 12, I think, is where we're going to jump on Echo. So there we go. We'll go ahead and give ourselves both engines now. We're pretty much just going to go straight ahead right here. We're going to jump onto this taxiway right here. which I think we could do in front of us here. Yes, we can. So we're not going to make this first right. We're going to make that second right, and we're going to take that all the way down to 7 left. All right, this video again is also a request video, so if you guys have any requests, areas you want me to fly, let me know. I'll give it a try. I can't do all of them because I don't know, some of them I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot about flying, believe it or not, but I will try and do all the ones that I can. If you guys are enjoying this, definitely hit that like button. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If this is the kind of content you like. And yeah, we're going to taxi all the way down. We're not in a Southwest livery today, but we are going to taxi like we are Southwest. We're going to do a little bit quicker of a taxi to get us down there because this is a little bit longer of a taxi. And I know the taxis are boring. I will put timestamps in the video, so if there's a specific thing you want to see, you'll be able to skip ahead to that point in the video. If you want to see the cruise, if you want to see the time lapse, if you want to see the landing, the departure, the arrivals, the taxiing, whatever you want to see, it will all be time stamped and you'll be able to skip around to those areas that you want to see. We did set our barometer, right? Yeah, 3001. We're good. All right, so we're going to taxi all the way down to the end. We're going to get on the runway at Echo 4. Once we get a little bit closer, we'll stop before we get on the runway and we'll do our before takeoff checks. Which maybe we'll just do once we're on the runway. It's going to be auto throttle, armed, engine start switches set to continuous. Master caution system recall. Make sure we don't have any warnings. Transponder TARA, we already have it set to that. Landing lights on and strobe lights will come on. There's the airport over there if you guys wanted to see that. This is a stock scenery. I don't have any sceneries for here. I thought I did, but I don't think there are any. For some reason I thought that there were and that I had it, but I didn't see it. We're going to speed up just a little bit more. Hopefully we don't get any fines or speeding. We're going to give it a try. All right, that should be good. We'll taxi at about that speed. We're just passing the Tango 3 South remote ramp. We're going to come up on the East Cargo ramp, and shortly before the West Cargo ramp is where we're going to be getting on at Echo 4. We're going to be passing Echo. We just passed Echo 8. The one to the left here is Echo 7. And then obviously 6, 5, and then 4 is the one we're getting on. There's a little bit of a skyline out there. Rendering in as much as it can considering how far I am from it. Falling off that center line. Let me get back over there. And yep, taxi is much longer than usual today. But the mountains out there look awesome. I don't remember if I flew out of this airport. I know I've flown into it several times. I don't recall if I've flown out of it. It is a beautiful airport. I do like flying into it. Let's get back on that center line there. Also, I want to do more flights in the Pheonix A320. So I do have a couple videos that I want to do, or a couple airports I want to do in the A320. I've also been considering learning smaller airplanes. I do have the CRJ. I find that the CRJ is kind of a pain to fly. It doesn't have auto throttle. It requires a lot more hands-on and constantly managing speed, which kind of gets irritating to me. I do like the Citation in this. I also like the CJ4. CJ4 is a great plane. Would love to do some flights in that, maybe into some smaller airports instead of the big international airports. And also my helicopter tours, I've been doing those, which have been very enjoyable. Also, if you guys haven't been on my page, I'm also doing American Truck Sim videos. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to hop on my page and take a look at those. Alright, so this is going to be Echo 4 here, and we're going to jump on here. I'm going to pull up onto the runway. I guess we'll just go right out to the runway. I'm going to slow down just a little bit for this turn. There we are. We're just going to pull right out onto the runway. Is that where this line's taking me? Yeah, okay. That was a little bit weird to me. I guess because you can cross the runway there too. That's what it looked like. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna pull out to the center here a little bit further. There we go. And we'll go ahead and put our brakes on here. We're gonna hold here for a second. We'll do our, give everybody whiplash. we'll do our before takeoff checks. Auto throttle can be armed. Engine start switches can go to continuous. Strobe light can come on. Landing lights can come on. Are they on? Now they're on. Auto brakes or landing lights, strobe lights, engine start switches, master caution, system recall. We're good to go. We're ready for takeoff. We'll go ahead and hit our toga button. We'll keep our nose down on the ground. We'll listen for our V speeds and call outs. We'll try and keep it centered here. Airspeed's alive. Giving in right rudder here.
80 knots.
All right. Now kicking in some left rudder.
V1. Rotate.
Rotating. And we are up. We'll gear up. Jump into a wing view. All right, we're gonna keep our nose down. We gotta get our speeds up a little bit more. There we go. We'll bring it up to flaps 1. And up to flaps 2. There we go. I think this is still in plan mode. There we go. And we can go ahead and go into VNav, LNav. And we can go ahead and toggle on our autopilot. There we are. We'll pull our landing gear down. Our after takeoff checks, landing gear is up. Flaps are all the way in. Taxi light switches can come off. Autopilot is on. Auto brakes can be set back to the off position. And there we are. Beautiful departure out of Pheonix. Absolutely great departure. Very nice wing view. We'll jump back up front. We'll make sure everything's going as planned, which I believe it is. I don't see any issues, no alerts, no warnings. We're at 4,400 feet, climbing up to 35,000. And I'll stay with you until 18,000 as usual, and then we'll get our time lapse going. We'll jump up in the front window and start our time lapse. I am going to have to keep an eye out for our fuel because I'm going to have to toggle off that one tank once we use it. On our way to St. Louis. Should be a good flight. I think it'll be a good flight. Jump back up front. We could do our climb checks at 10,000. We'll get our landing lights off. We're not gonna do that yet. We'll go ahead and get our engine start switches set back to regular or the off position. Once we hit 10,000, we'll get our landing lights on and we'll take off our seatbelt signs, which we're coming up on. Almost at 8,000. So we got 2,000 feet to go. And we are getting out of here. Jump back up front. 8,500, about 1,500 feet to go. I always forget about this engine or this fuel tank. I'm definitely gonna have to keep an eye on that to make sure that we toggle off those center engines once we use up that fuel. All right, we can go ahead and toggle our landing lights off. We can go ahead and take our seatbelt signs off as we are climbing. We are stable. There you go. There's an airport just below us there. All right, we're pitching down for speed. Now that we're at 10,000, we can speed up. So we're pitching down to get our speeds up. And then we'll start climbing again. There we are, climbing again. We don't have any warnings down here. Everything looks fine. System, I guess that doesn't really matter. Oop. Put it back to engine. There we go. Looks good. Almost at 12,000 feet. And this will be about a 3-hour flight, I think it was. Let me see, I can tell you in just a second. We're looking at 2 hours and 54 minutes. So yeah, about 3 hours in airtime. Not too bad. Will be a long flight, but it'll definitely be worth it. I think it'll come out really nice. Coming up on 13,000 feet. Again, if you guys aren't subscribed, it says that the majority of my viewers are not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. It encourages me to make more of it. It also helps me work towards my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Once I'm at 1,000 subscribers, I can get the monetization. And once I'm monetized, I will be able to make more videos and put more time into it. That's my goal. That's what I'm looking to get to. So if this is the type of stuff you like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help me get there. I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys enjoy other videos like truck sim, I also have truck sim videos on my page, like I said earlier. Definitely go check those out. I have lots of other flights on my page. Plenty of flights, so be sure to go check those out as well. I have some on VATSIM. Unfortunately, there weren't any controllers on in the area that we're flying today, so I'm not with any controllers, but I do have a few videos with VATSIM. You'll know it's a VATSIM video if you look at the thumbnail. Just under Microsoft Flight Sim's logo, you will see VATSIM's logo, and that will tell you that that video is a VATSIM video. We're coming up on 16,500 feet. We got about 1,500 feet to go till we are at our transition altitude, which is 18,000 feet in the United States. In other countries, I think it's 6,000. It's a little bit different in some places. Last time, we're going to look out the wing before we jump into our time lapse. And we'll go ahead and jump up front. We're at 17,600. We'll go ahead and switch this into standard mode. There we are. And we are coming up on 18,000 feet now. So we're going to go ahead and jump in the front window. We'll start our time lapse here, and I will see you guys when we're closer to our descent. I hope you guys enjoy the flight. Alright guys, welcome back. We've begun our descent into St. Louis, and it looks like we are flying into some clouds, possibly a storm of some sort. But we are at 25,000 feet. We are continuing down to, I think I set it to 3,000 feet. We have a couple things we have to do in the airplane. First thing we need to do is seatbelt signs now that we are on our descent. We'll go ahead and toggle that back on. ATIS, we've already obtained engine start switches. We'll switch over to continuous. And we'll set the FMC for arrival. It's going to be 132 plus 5. We'll go ahead and drop that in there. We'll head back over to the legs page. And we need to put in our arrival information. There's a wing view real quick. You can see we have a pretty dense layer of clouds down there, which I think we're pretty much going to be descending into. But we need to pull up our runway chart for runway 30 right. So if we go back over to here and we go to here, and we look at charts, we want approach for 30 right, we need to put this information into the plane. Why did that just happen? We need to put our localizer frequency, our final approach course, and our landing barometers. So we'll go ahead and move this back over to my other page here, or my other screen, and we'll get that information put into the plane. First thing we're going to do is 111.3. 111.3, yeah. So we'll set this to 111.3. We'll flip that over to the active channel. We'll do the same thing over here. There we go. Flip that over to the active channel. And we're looking at 303 on the approach course. So we'll set this to 303. We'll do it on this side as well. There we go. And our landing barometer, we're looking at, let's see, 705. 705 it's looking like. So we'll set this to, let's move this so we can see a little bit better. 705. And there we are, 705. All right, aside from landing lights and approach checks, we are done our, or not approach checks, we're done our descent checks. Moving on to our approach checks, we're going to be setting out our altimeter to 2990. We can go ahead and do that now. 2990. We'll do a window view again. We are descending into this dense layer of clouds. We have our altitude set. We should be able to intercept the localizer by the time we hit that altitude. We should be good. But yeah, we're going right into this little cloud system, this little storm system. Flight went pretty well. Hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. Time lapse went really well. We didn't run into too much turbulence. Everything seemed to go pretty smooth. It was pretty clear almost all the way until right before our descent. We started flying over into some clouds. So there definitely is some kind of storm system going through here at the moment, which looks like we're going to be flying into. I don't know how much it's going to look, what's it going to look like below these clouds. Probably a pretty dense overcast, possibly some rain. I could read the MEDAR to know that. Let's see, weather. It's saying wind is 2704 knots, visibility 16 kilometers. Overcast at 2800, so we're gonna have clouds down to 2800. Temperature is 45 degrees Fahrenheit, dew point 2.8. Pressures are 29990. Humidity is 74%. That's all I got for the weather. Let's take a look at our, let me move this over. We'll take a look at our taxi chart for the airport we're landing at. We're landing on 27. Where are we landing? Why do I keep forgetting this? 30. We're landing 30 right. Just pull this back up. 30 right. So airport's going to be to our left. So we're going to have to get off on our left. All right. No big deal. We'll go ahead and move this back over. And we are holding our constraints and everything. It looks like we're doing just fine there. I don't know why our speed brake was armed. I just unarmed that. But that's okay. Down to 14,000. We're coming down to 10,000. You can see we did not put in our fix. Let's put in our fix here. Where is fix? Why am I not seeing it? There we go. KSTL. We'll drop that in here. We'll go /5 and we'll go /10. There we are. We'll head over to legs. We'll jump back out of here, and now you can see where the 5 mile and 10 mile rings are from the airport. Now we're going to be flying up here. We're going to be flying a downwind. Then we're going to do a manual vector over to our next waypoint. So I think we will be just fine. Obviously, we're going to be just fine. We're getting down to this overcast. It's going to be pretty dense flying down into this. We haven't flown into clouds in a while, so I am kind of excited to see that. You can see off the back of the wing there's some pretty strong updraft clouds. I don't know if I'm correct, but I think they're called cumulonimbus clouds. I think cumulonimbus clouds are your main storm clouds. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I don't know. Looks absolutely awesome flying over these clouds though. It's just like a blanket of clouds. Look at that. What a beautiful sight. Just flying over these clouds, just coasting along. And we're going to be dropping right into these clouds. Just a blanket of clouds all around us. All right, 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and put our landing lights on. We'll set our auto brakes to 2, which is medium. Do a master caution system recall. We're good. We'll arm our speed brakes just to prep that. Flaps we'll do pretty soon once we start that right turn and we're a little bit further up. Landing gear and taxi light switches. Flaps, landing gear, taxi light switches. That's all we have left. And we are doing just fine. Looks like the plane is starting to slow down a little bit here. We go ahead and zoom this in a notch. What a beautiful sight. You guys ready to fly down into this? I am. And we're going to have that coverage all the way down to 2,800 feet. So we have quite a low cloud ceiling. We'll go ahead and put in our speed brakes a little bit to help us slow down and help us descend down onto our glide path a little bit since we fell about 200 feet off of that. There we are. And we'll go ahead and release that. We'll rearm our speed brake. There we go. And getting ready to drop into these clouds. If you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Definitely check out my page for more videos like this. What a view. Yep, so it might get a little bit bumpy in here. What was our weather here? It was 45 degrees. I'm wondering if we need to put our anti-ice on. I don't know the anti-ice rules, like when you actually need it. We'll go ahead and turn it on just in case. Alright, we're about to drop down. We are on our downwind. The airport is just to the left of us. Well, just a little bit further up, but to the left of us, as you can see here. It is right here. We are right here. We'll go ahead and help our speeds come down. Make sure we're following that speed profile. We'll put some flaps in, or speed brakes. And here we go. We're going to drop into these clouds. 7,300 feet. We got to set down to 3,000, which it should follow that pretty well. I still have speed brakes out so that we can slow down to our speed. Here we go. All right, and oh, what are we breaking out again? Nah, we should be dropping below these. Overcast, 2,800 feet. We got to keep an eye out here because we're gonna have to do a manual vector to exhale. Exhale. We got one more waypoint to go to, and then we'll move that up to the top to make sure that we make that turn in time, at the right time. And we'll see what happens as we fall below this overcast of clouds. Now we should lock onto the localizer before we see the ground. So we're going to be pretty much just instrument flying from here until we're established, which is a very interesting concept because this is something that pilots are trained in. I think it's actually a rating, like it's a rating they have to get. Even small aircraft pilots, if they want to fly like this. So we're going to be flying. Oh, we do see the ground. Well, maybe I am wrong. It says the ceiling's at 2,800 feet, so... But I guess it's not very thick. So, there's that. Alright, we're about to pass our next waypoint in about a half a nautical mile. As soon as we do, we're going to move exhale up to the top. Vector should move up to the top, which you're about to see. There we go. We'll move exhale up to the top. We'll click on it, and then we'll click the top one. And we're not going to execute that. We're going to wait until that white dotted line is at about a 45-degree angle, and that's when we're going to execute it. And yeah, it looks like we can see the ground, so I was wrong about that. But it looks like we won't be completely below these clouds until 2,800 feet. Alright, we're just keeping an eye on this here. And we're going to go ahead and execute that. We'll start that turn. We'll also get 2 notches of flaps in. Actually, we'll get 3 notches of flaps in. I think we're good for that. Yep. Alright, so we're flaps 5 right now. We do have the localizer showing up. So we'll toggle on our localizer here in a second once we straighten out this turn a little bit. Not a whole lot to see on the ground yet. We also have our glide slope right here. So we're going to hope that we capture both of those successfully, which I think we will. And just a reminder, we're flying into St. Louis. Alright, we'll go ahead and arm our localizer. We'll capture that once we get a little bit closer to this waypoint up here. Once we do, we'll go full flaps. We'll drop our gear. We'll get our taxi lights on. And we should be good for the landing. There we are. We're just coming up on our 10-mile ring. You remember we set that. I'm going to set this down a little bit further. I think about 2,800. I don't know if we can arm that before the localizer. I don't see why we couldn't, but I've never done it before. But it is right where we need it to be, so I should be able to capture that. There's our localizer. We'll go ahead and try and capture our glide slope as well, which we did. Okay, so maybe you can. I don't know. Never done it before. We'll go 1 more notch of flaps. We are now on manual speed control. We'll go ahead and drop our gear, and we'll get our taxi lights turned on. Make sure our gear comes out. Make sure we get 3 green. There we go. 3 green. Our gear is out. What was our speed supposed to be? Looks like 132. We can start bringing that down. We'll bring that down to 140. We can go ahead and go full flaps at this point. And there we are. Bring our speeds down Looks like we're pitching down a little strong. We're probably going a little fast. We'll go ahead and add some speed brakes in there, help us slow down. Going a little bit quick. Alright, we are following that glide path pretty well. I see the lights. We have 2 red, 2 white on the PAPI lights. We're kind of just following this highway in front of us here, which is pretty cool. That'd probably be a pretty cool highway to drive on and see the planes coming in. It's definitely a lot different looking down here than it was above those clouds, that's for sure. So far, a beautiful approach. Great suggestion. Make sure our rudder pedals are working. They are. And we're going to take control of the airplane in a second here. We'll hand fly it the rest of the way down. Do one more wing view before we take manual control. There you go. And we'll jump back up front. We'll go ahead and toggle off the autopilot here. We'll go ahead and hush that alarm up. Alright, we're just going to keep following that glide path down. We're following that pink diamond on our vertical indicator. We don't want to get too off from it, too far off from it. And we're going to keep both diamonds centered as best we can. We're pulling off a little bit too far to the left here, so we gotta put a little right in. Let's gotta pull it up just a little bit. Coming down a little quick. There we are, and we'll nose it back down because now we're too high. That thing tends to move pretty quickly. It's pretty hard to chase it perfectly. The autopilot does a good job at that, but it's a little hard to do that manually. You can do it. Don't get me wrong.
300.
I am not the best at doing that, but
Approaching minimums.
following it pretty well.
100. Minimums.
Landing.
50. 30. 20. 10.
And we are down. We'll get the nose down. And we'll go ahead and go reverse thrust, which we might not even need to do, but we're going to do it. And we need to get off to the left side. We may be able to get off right here if we can slow down. We'll go ahead and get our reversers off. There we are. We'll get our flaps in. We'll get our speed brakes unarmed. We'll go ahead and get off of the taxiway or off the runway right here. We're going to pull up here. We're going to hold short because we are going to have to cross a runway. And before we do that, we'll do our after landing checks. So we'll pull up and hold short of the runway. And welcome to St. Louis, guys. If you enjoyed that, definitely subscribe. Please help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'd greatly appreciate that. See if we can do it. All right, we'll slow down. We're still going a little bit quick. There we are. We're going to pull up. We're going to hold short of crossing this runway right here. I think normally we would have held short earlier, but we don't have ATC, so I guess it's kind of our own rules at the moment. And we'll go ahead and stop here. Give everybody a little bit of whiplash. There we go. After landing, landing lights can come off. Strobe lights can come off. We'll set them back to steady. Taxi lights on, flaps up. Speed brake lever down. We did that. Transponder can go back to standby. There we are. Engine start switches can go to the off position. And anti-ice can come off as well. And we can start our APU. We'll go ahead and get our APU bleed switch on as well. We'll get our APU going. Looks like we're going to be taxiing. Right in front of us is all the terminals. So we'll just taxi across this way and we'll pick one of those terminals and we'll do our parking checks there. So we'll go ahead and taxi across this runway. There we are. Pretty interesting clouds out here. Definitely a solid overcast. Luckily we didn't run into any rain, so that's good. Alright, so we'll pull into the second terminal up here. Unfortunately, I don't have a scenery for here. I don't know if there is a scenery for here. If there is, I'll look it up and get it. Looks like our APU is ready. We're just going to taxi right over to this line here. And then we're going to pull off to the left to that line there. We'll get our taxi lights off and runway turn-off lights off so we don't blind everybody here. There we go. Keep pulling up a little bit further. And there we go. We'll get our parking brake on. We'll do our parking checks. Parking brake on. We'll go overhead here. Seatbelt signs can come off. No smoking signs can come off as well. APU generator switches can come on. 1, 2. We're now on our APU. Fuel cutoff switches. We're going to cut our engines. We'll jump down here. We'll go to menu. FS actions, ground services. We'll set the wheel chocks. We'll request the ground unit. I don't know if we'll be able to get that jetway or not, but we can give it a try. We'll request the jetway. Oh, looks like we can. Perfect. All right, jetway is coming out. Ground power, we can get established on. We're now on our ground power. APU bleed can come off. APU can come off as well. And pack switches left and right can be set back to the off position. This can go back to the open position. Probe heats and window heats can come off. Window heats off. Probe heats off. Emergency exit lights are off. Fuel pumps can come off. Yaw damper can come off. I'll go off the yaw damper there. Anti-collision lights can come off. Wing lights, we'll keep those on. And that's going to be it. That is our turnaround state. Jump on the outside view. Alright, if you guys enjoyed that video, definitely subscribe. Hit that like button. It helps other people see my content. And I will see you guys on the next video.